The human race has not learned peace or to be with each other truly at peace. We've created conflict through differences, whether ethnic groups, opinions, religion. I felt extremely repressed growing up, and I felt very uncomfortable. I'm a child actor. I started working at the age of 14. I was founded in a mall when I was turning 14, and I spent most of my life on set and during the day at school. My first TV series, people don't know this, I played soccer in high school, so I was really dark, and Thais had a feeling about dark skin. So I remember like the first comments that came out were like, oh my God, she's so dark. I was like, oh wait, what's wrong with me? Am I not pretty enough? I'm not good enough. And as a teenager, it kind of shaped me from then to now. I had a lot of insecurity issues growing up. It took me up to the age of, I think, 25 to finally find who I was and, you know, my own worth or what I'm comfortable with. I had a period where I was very angry with life, and it took time for me to realize that when you're angry, the only person that you hurt is yourself. And then I realized to start loving myself, but I couldn't figure out how to do that. So how I did that was by building worth. And the reason why I do social work is because the industry is very vanity based, and it's all about the next pretty thing, the next best thing, the next this, the next that. And your value is created through people wanting you, people wanting to be you, people wanting to know more about you. That's a very suffocating thing to be around. I don't find wealth, reputation, fame valuable. They're a means to an end for me. But what I find worth in was giving, making other people happy. It makes me feel honored to be in their presence, to be in front of people who have experienced unspeakable things and terrible things, yet have so much forgiveness and hope for the world. It's my honor to meet a refugee. I think refugees are people who have been treated as though they're unwanted, as though they don't belong. I have a huge soft spot for this because I felt it on a very small scale. I could never compare it. But refugees for me struck a huge nerve because 4.5 years ago I saw images of Rohingya refugees on a boat. Not only were they stateless, they were also refugees. That puts you in a very vulnerable situation. That means you have no form of protection and no chance of any form of basic human rights. You're different to an immigrant. A refugee wants to go back and be Syrian. They want to feel Syria. They want to have the senses, the sounds, the smells, the language, the culture, everything that makes them Syrian, everything that makes them Rohingya. They want that, and that's something that I want people to take in when they read it, rather than think of these people are dangerous, because these people are people who had dangerous people do things to them that should not have happened. The refugee crisis is not far from what we view as important. It's actually crucial to the development of our generation. The number is currently 68 million. That's a huge number, and the number grows every year. The problem is their voice isn't heard, because if you don't have an identity or you don't have a nationality and you don't have even a platform to declare who you are, how could you ever declare your worth? That's when I realized that it was something that I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing, was to speak up for the people like them who don't have opportunities to come out and say, this is what happened to me and my family. Please help me. It is what we call an emergency on top of an emergency. And there were threats of sanitation, disease, cholera outbreak. I've never seen so many people who were so vulnerable in one place, but also experience extreme levels of violence and persecution. It was one of the darkest trips I've had in my entire life. Well, we're in the only generation where there is no excuse not to speak up. In our parents' generation before, you'd have to make an effort to make a statement. In our generation, it's an Instagram post, it's a Facebook status. But I've always said an opinion is the least valuable form of intelligence if it causes violence. I think an opinion is only valuable if it is to create change in a positive manner. The day that we learn the value of peace and human dignity and human life is a day where we're safe. We have not come close to learning the lessons of war or violence, but our generation needs to, because with the pressure of climate change, poverty, global security, refugees, these problems are all interlinked, and we need to step up to take responsibility, even if we were not the ones to cause it.